Strangers cheered him on. I'm Chuck Anderson, and December 12th changed everything. Jake didn't just throw away Elena's teaching awards. He live-streamed it, called her life's work garbage, mocked thank-you letters from fourth graders she'd helped, told his audience that his mother was dead weight who never accomplished anything meaningful. What those 1,000 viewers didn't know? Elena gave Jake her kidney when he was 8 years old, saved his life. Never told him because she didn't want gratitude, just wanted him alive. What Jake didn't know? His worthless mother left him a $2.1 million villa in Spain. I watched him perform for strangers, shredding the memory of the woman who literally kept him breathing. And I made a decision that would cost him everything. Some secrets are worth keeping, some aren't. If this story grabs you, subscribe and tell me where you're watching from, because what happened next proves that betrayal always finds its price. Elena taught me that actions have consequences. Jake was about to learn. Let me paint you the picture of how my son saw me back then. Every morning at 5 a.m., I'd put on my gray janitor uniform with Roosevelt Elementary stitched on the pocket. Same school where Elena taught fourth grade for 18 years. Same hallways where she made kids laugh. Same classrooms where she changed lives. Jake would roll his eyes when his friends came over. "That's just my dad," he'd say. "He cleans toilets for a living." Never mind that I chose to work there. Never mind that every night I'd spend an extra hour in Elena's old classroom, room 207, making sure it stayed perfect. Her replacement, Mrs. Peterson, always left me a note saying thanks. But Jake? He saw embarrassment. "You're 57 years old, Chuck," he'd say. Use my first name like I wasn't his father. "Don't you think it's time to get a real job? A real job. Like I hadn't been working since I was 16. Like Elena and I hadn't saved every penny to buy our little house on Maple Street. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, but it was ours. Elena loved that kitchen window, said she could see the sunrise while making coffee. Jake lived in the bigger bedroom now, rent-free for 2 years since Elena passed, his Xbox Series X sitting right where her sewing machine used to be. $500 I spent last Christmas, thinking maybe if I showed him love, he'd show me respect. Wrong. The second sign came 3 weeks ago. Jake brought his buddies over, Tyler, Brandon, some girl with pink hair. They were talking loud about crypto investments, blockchain futures, financial freedom. Big words from kids who never held a job. "My dad doesn't understand money," Jake announced, pointing at me like I wasn't there. "He's old school. Thinks working hard actually pays off." They all laughed. "I keep telling him," Jake continued, "grief makes people stupid. He's still living like Mom's coming back, keeping all her junk around like some kind of shrine." Elena's junk, her teaching awards, her coffee mug collection, 47 mugs from students over the years, each one with a little note. "Best teacher ever. Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. You saved my life." Jake called it junk. "The man needs therapy," the pink-haired girl said, "or a reality check. He'll figure it out," Jake shrugged. "When I start making real money, maybe I'll help him out, buy him a nice little apartment somewhere, away from all this dead weight. Dead weight. That's what he called his mother's memory. I kept mopping. Elena always said people show you who they are if you just listen. I was listening now. But here's what Jake didn't know, what none of them knew. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m., I got a call from Mr. Rodriguez at the law office in Seville, Spain. Elena's parents had left her something in their will, something she never got to see because she died first. The paperwork finally cleared in April. Every Wednesday, I checked the bank statement from Banco Santander. Account number ending in 4792. Balance: €1,950,000. That's $2.1 million at current exchange rates. Elena's villa, Calle Sierpes 23, Seville. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, rooftop terrace overlooking the cathedral. Her grandmother's house, where Elena spent summers as a little girl. Jake knew Elena's parents were Spanish, but he never asked about inheritance, never asked about her family, never asked about anything except when he could have the house to himself for parties. So I never told him. Good thing, too, because what happened next proved I made the right choice. The pressure started building the week before Thanksgiving. "I need $15,000, Jake announced over breakfast. Not asked, announced. I was eating oatmeal, the same breakfast Elena and I shared for 20 years. Jake was scrolling his phone, not even looking at me. "15,000 for what?" I asked. "Investment opportunity. This guy Marcus has a crypto mining setup, guaranteed returns. I just need seed money." I set down my spoon. "Son, I don't have $15,000. Now he looked up. Eyes narrowed like I was lying. Come on, Chuck. You've got Mom's life insurance money sitting around. $50,000, right? Just sitting in some boring savings account. He wasn't wrong about the life insurance. Elena had a policy through the school district. But that money, that was for emergencies, for keeping the house, for surviving. That money's not for investments, Jake. It's not for hoarding either. He leaned forward. Dad, you're 57. You make what, $30,000 a year mopping floors? You'll never retire. You'll die in that janitor's closet. But if we invest smart now... We? Fine. If I invest smart now, I can take care of both of us, buy you a decent place, get you out of this situation. This situation, our home, Elena's home. What if the investment fails? I asked. Jake laughed, actually laughed. That's your problem, old man. You think small. Mom thought small, too. Look where it got her. Where it got her. Elena died of cancer, fighting for 18 months. She thought about Jake every day, worried about leaving him without guidance, made me promise to be patient with him. Your mother worked hard for everything we have, I said quietly. And what do we have? Jake spread his arms wide. A crappy house in a crappy neighborhood, a 20-year-old Camry with 130,000 miles, some teaching awards nobody cares about. Face it, Dad, Mom's whole life was mediocre. Mediocre. I thought about Elena staying up until midnight, grading papers by lamplight, writing personal notes on every test, calling parents when kids struggled, spending her own money on classroom supplies. I thought about the letters that still came sometimes, former students, now adults, thanking her for believing in them, for seeing potential when nobody else did. Mediocre. If you don't invest this money, Jake continued, I might have to make some hard choices about our living situation. What does that mean? It means maybe it's time for you to downsize. Sell this place. Get a studio apartment somewhere. Let me handle the finances. I'm 30 years old, Dad. I know how the world works now. There it was. The threat. Give me the money or lose your home. But it got worse. That weekend, Jake brought over a real estate agent. A pushy woman in a red blazer who walked through Elena's house like she was calculating square footage for demolition. The market's hot right now, she told Jake, ignoring me completely. Properties in this neighborhood are going for $220, $230. After commission and fees, you're looking at maybe $200,000 clear. See? Jake said to me. We sell this place, invest the proceeds properly, and in 5 years we'll have enough to buy something twice as nice. Elena's house, where she planted tomatoes every spring, where she hung Christmas lights that could be seen from 3 blocks away, where she sat on the front porch every evening, waving at neighbors. I'm not selling, I said. The real estate agent shrugged. Think about it. Market won't stay hot forever. After she left, Jake cornered me in the kitchen. Dad, you're being selfish. This isn't just about you anymore. I have plans, goals. But I can't achieve them while you're clinging to the past. The past. Elena's memory. Our life together. What if I said no to everything? I asked. No to the investment. No to selling the house. Jake's face went cold. Then maybe I'd have to reevaluate whether this relationship is worth maintaining. The first real fight happened on a Tuesday night. I was cleaning Elena's portrait in the living room, the one from her last Teacher of the Year award. Jake walked in with takeout food, saw what I was doing, and just stopped. Seriously? He said. You're dusting her picture again? It's dusty, I said simply. It's obsessive. He set his food down hard on Elena's coffee table. Dad, she's gone. She's been gone for 3 years. This shrine thing you've got going, it's not healthy. I kept cleaning the glass carefully. Elena's smile looked back at me, the same smile she gave me every morning for 28 years. She was a good woman, I said. She was a mediocre teacher who never amounted to anything. I stopped cleaning. What did you say? You heard me. Jake sat down, opened his container of Chinese food. Look around, Dad. Look at what her good work got us. A tiny house, old furniture, no savings, no legacy. She spent 18 years making $40,000 a year and acting like she was changing the world. She was changing the world. Really? Name one kid she actually helped. Name one life she actually saved. I set down the cleaning cloth, turned to look at my son. Really look at him. I can name exactly one life she saved, I said quietly. Yeah? Who? Yours. Jake laughed. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing you'd understand. Try me. I studied his face, the face Elena and I watched grow up, the same brown eyes she had, the same stubborn chin. But something was missing now, something Elena would have been heartbroken to see. Your mother? I said slowly. Gave more than you'll ever know. Like what? Bedtime stories? Homework help? Big deal. Every mom does that stuff. Not every mom would do what she did. Which was what exactly? I looked at him sitting there, eating his food on Elena's table, in Elena's house, completely unaware of what his existence had cost her. She gave you everything, I said. Everything? Look around, Dad. This is everything? This is pathetic. You wouldn't be here without her sacrifice. Oh, please. Jake rolled his eyes. Spare me the guilt trip. Every parent sacrifices for their kids. It's called basic responsibility. Not like this. Not like what? I reached over and touched his abdomen just below his ribs, right where the scar was. Jake jerked back. What are you doing? You have a scar there, I said. 6 inches long, lower right side. So what? Surgery when I was a kid. Appendicitis or something. Or something. What's that supposed to mean? I stared at him. Elena's son. The boy she literally saved. It means you owe more than you know, Jake. His face twisted with irritation. Oh what? Oh who? Dad, you're talking crazy again. This is what I mean about the grief making you weird. Am I weird for remembering? Remembering what? August 3rd, 2002? Jake blinked. I don't know what that date means. You were 8 years old, okay? And Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, room 412. Something flickered across Jake's face. Uncertainty. You were dying, I said quietly. I had appendicitis. Kids don't die from appendicitis. You didn't have appendicitis. What did I have? I let the silence stretch out. Elena always said the truth was like medicine, sometimes bitter, but necessary. Kidney failure, I said finally. Complete renal shutdown, congenital defect. The doctors said you had maybe 6 weeks without a transplant. Jake's Chinese food sat forgotten. That's not what you told me. We told you what you could handle. You were 8. So what happened? They found a donor? They found a donor. Who? I touched his scar again. This time he didn't pull away. Your mother. The words hung in the air like smoke. Jake's face went through several expressions. Confusion, disbelief, something that might have been recognition. No, he said quietly. No, that's not. You would have told me. Would we? When? When you turned 18 and started calling her stupid? When you moved back home and called her things junk? When you said her life was mediocre? I didn't mean... When exactly? I continued. Should we have told you that the woman you treat like garbage gave you one of her kidneys to save your life? Jake sat very still. His hand moved unconsciously to his side. That can't be true. Your mother, I said, has a matching scar, right here. I touched my own side. Want to see it? She never showed me any scar. She never wanted you to feel guilty. She said it was a gift, not a debt. Jake's face had gone pale. Why didn't you tell me? Because Elena made me promise. She said kids shouldn't grow up feeling like they owe their parents their lives. But now you're telling me. Because now, I said quietly, you need to understand what dead weight actually looks like. After that conversation, Jake got quiet for a few days. I thought maybe he was processing what I'd told him about the kidney, maybe feeling some gratitude, maybe understanding what Elena had really done for him. I was wrong. Thursday morning, I found him in the kitchen making coffee. He looked up when I came in, and his expression was different, harder. I've been thinking about what you said, he started. Good, I said. Maybe now You're manipulating me. I stopped pouring my cereal. What? This kidney story, this guilt trip about Mom's sacrifice. You're trying to make me feel bad so I won't ask for the investment money. I stared at him. Jake, that's not... It's pretty convenient timing, don't you think? I asked for $15,000 and suddenly you remember this huge secret about Mom saving my life? Come on, Dad. I'm not 8 years old anymore. The scar on your side is real. Scars can come from lots of things. And even if Mom did give me a kidney, which I'm not saying she did, that doesn't mean I owe you my entire future. He poured his coffee like we were discussing the weather. Jake, I said carefully, this isn't about debt. It's about respect. Respect? He turned to face me. Dad, you want respect? Start by respecting my intelligence. Stop trying to control me with these emotional stories. They're not stories. Prove it. What? If this kidney thing really happened, there would be medical records, hospital bills, documentation. Show me. I could show him. I had Elena's medical file in our bedroom closet, photos from before and after surgery. The surgeon's notes explaining the procedure, Elena's discharge papers. But something in Jake's tone stopped me. Something cold and calculated. "You don't believe me," I said. "I believe you think it's true. Grief does funny things to memory, Dad. Maybe you've convinced yourself this happened because it makes Mom seem more important. More important. Your mother was important. To you, maybe. But objectively, she was a small-town teacher who never did anything remarkable, and now you're trying to turn her into some kind of saint who saved my life. It's pretty obvious why. Why? Because you can't handle the fact that she was ordinary, that your whole marriage was ordinary, that you're ordinary." He said it so casually, like he was commenting on the weather. "Jake, it's okay, Dad. Most people are ordinary. Most lives don't matter much in the big picture. But instead of accepting that, you're creating these elaborate myths about Mom's importance." I felt something shift inside me, something that had been patient for 3 years. "What if I could prove it?" I asked quietly. "Prove what?" "Everything. The kidney, the sacrifice, Elena's importance." Jake shrugged. "Then I guess I'd apologize, but Dad, even if it's all true, it doesn't change anything about our situation now. Dead people can't pay bills. Our situation, like Elena's sacrifice, was ancient history. What if Elena left us something?" I asked. Jake's eyes sharpened. "What do you mean?" "Just hypothetically. What if she wasn't as ordinary as you think? Dad, if Mom had money hidden somewhere, don't you think I'd know about it? We've been living paycheck to paycheck since she died." "Maybe. Or maybe some things take time to surface." Jake set down his coffee cup. "What are you talking about?" "Nothing specific. Just wondering what you'd do if you found out Elena had been more than you realized." "More how?" I stood up, rinsed my bowl in the sink. Elena's sink, where she washed dishes every night while humming old songs. "I get a phone call every Tuesday," I said, not looking at him. "What kind of phone call?" "From Spain." I could feel Jake watching me now. "Spain? Why?" "Elena's family had some loose ends to tie up. Paperwork, legal stuff." "What kind of legal stuff?" I dried my hands on Elena's dish towel, the one with sunflowers she bought at a craft fair. "Nothing you'd be interested in," I said. "Just ordinary people handling ordinary business." "Dad." "Yeah? Are you hiding something from me?" I looked at him then, really looked. My son, who'd called his mother ordinary, who'd called her sacrifice manipulation, who thought dead people couldn't pay bills. "We all have our secrets, Jake," I said quietly. Then I grabbed my janitor's uniform and headed for work, leaving him standing in Elena's kitchen with 1,000 questions and no answers. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Elena taught me that. December 12th, 2024, 7:30 p.m., the night everything changed. I was in the garage, organizing Elena's Christmas decorations. Same ones we'd used for 20 years, the string lights that always tangled, the ceramic angels she collected, the tree topper shaped like a star. Jake hated when I put them up, said they made the house look dated, but Elena loved Christmas. She'd start decorating the weekend after Thanksgiving, playing Bing Crosby records and making hot chocolate. The whole house would smell like cinnamon and pine. I was untangling a strand of lights when I heard Jake's voice from inside, loud, excited. Then I heard other voices. I walked to the door connecting the garage to the kitchen. Through the crack, I could see Jake at the kitchen table with his laptop open. He was talking to the camera, gesturing animatedly. "Okay, everyone, tonight's the night," he was saying. "Time for some real talk about moving forward in life." A live stream. Facebook Live, from the look of the interface. So I've got about, let's see, 438 people watching right now. Awesome. Thanks for joining me, guys. I could see the comment feed scrolling on his screen. People asking what he was doing, where he was. For those just joining, I'm Jake Anderson, and tonight I'm doing something that's been a long time coming. My dad and I live in this house, well, my mom's house technically, and it's time to clean out some dead weight. Dead weight. The phrase hit me like ice water. See, my mom died 3 years ago, and my dad, he's having trouble letting go. The house is basically a shrine. Her stuff is everywhere. It's not healthy for him, and honestly, it's not healthy for me either. More comments scrolling, some supportive, some curious. So tonight, while Dad's out in the garage, I'm going to help him move forward. Sometimes you have to make the hard choices for people you love, right? I watched him stand up, camera still rolling. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Jake carried the laptop through the kitchen into the living room. I could see Elena's teaching awards on the wall, her bookshelf full of education texts, the ceramic angels she collected over the years. "This is what I mean," Jake said to the camera. "Look at this stuff. These teaching awards, Outstanding Educator 1998, Teacher of the Year 2015. Like, okay, great, she was a good teacher, but she's gone now, and keeping this stuff around is just, it's morbid. 512 viewers now, according to the count." Jake picked up one of Elena's awards, a crystal apple with her name engraved on it. "My mom worked at Roosevelt Elementary for 18 years, made maybe $40,000 a year. Sweet lady, but let's be honest, she never did anything really important. Never changed the world. Just a small-town teacher who thought she was making a difference." He held the award up to the camera. "You know what this represents? Mediocrity, false hopes, the idea that being nice is enough. Well, it's not enough. Nice doesn't pay bills. Nice doesn't build wealth. Nice doesn't create opportunities." I felt my hands clench into fists. "So here's what we're going to do," Jake continued. "We're going to clean house, literally." He walked over to Elena's bookshelf, where she kept her collection of thank you notes from students, hundreds of them, accumulated over nearly 2 decades. "Look at this," Jake said, pulling out a handful. "Thank you notes. Dear Mrs. Anderson, you changed my life. Mrs. Anderson, you believed in me when no one else did. You saved my life." He read them in a mocking, high-pitched voice. "Saved your life? Really? She was a 4th-grade teacher, not a surgeon." This is exactly the kind of delusional thinking that keeps people stuck in mediocrity. 608 viewers now, comments flowing faster. Jake opened the front door and walked outside, carrying the box of thank you notes. The camera showed our front yard, the street, our neighbors' houses. "This is what moving forward looks like," he announced. "Sometimes you have to throw away the past to make room for the future." He dumped the entire box into our garbage can. Hundreds of letters from Elena's students, fluttering down like dead leaves. "There we go. Dead weight officially discarded." The comments were mixed now, some people cheering him on, others expressing concern. "Don't worry," Jake said, reading the concerned comments. "This isn't disrespecting my mom. This is honoring her by refusing to be trapped by sentimentality. She would have wanted me to be successful, not nostalgic." He went back inside. I followed at a distance, staying in the shadows. "Okay, what's next?" Jake surveyed the living room. "Oh, here we go, the mug collection. Elena's mugs, 47 of them, each one a gift from a student. She displayed them on a special shelf Jake's grandfather had built. Every teacher hoards student gifts," Jake explained to his audience. "Coffee mugs, paperweights, little ceramic figurines. It's like a participation trophy for mediocrity." He started taking them down one by one. "World's best teacher, #1 educator. You make a difference, blah, blah, blah. You want to know the truth? My mom made maybe $2 million total in her entire career. A crypto investor can make that in a month. 723 viewers now." Jake carried an armload of mugs outside. I could hear them clinking against each other, some of them breaking. "And here's the best part," he said, dumping them into the garbage. "My dad thinks this stuff is valuable. He thinks keeping it around honors her memory. But you know what would really honor her memory? Me becoming successful? Me making something of my life instead of wallowing in grief. More mugs. More trips to the garbage can." "The thing is," Jake continued, "some people are born to be ordinary. Small dreams, small lives, small impact. My mom was one of those people. Sweet lady, but ordinary. And my dad is too. He's a janitor, 57 years old, makes $30,000 a year mopping floors, 841 viewers. But I'm different. I have vision. I understand money, investment, opportunity. I'm not going to end up like them, trapped in some mediocre life, pretending small accomplishments matter." He came back inside, picked up Elena's favorite coffee mug, the one that said, "Teaching is a work of heart," a gift from her last class before she got sick. "This one's special," Jake said to the camera. "Dad's favorite. He drinks coffee from it every morning like it's some kind of sacred ritual." He held it up, examining it in the light. "You know what this represents? Living in the past, refusing to move forward, choosing sentiment over success." He walked toward the door. "Time to let go." 896 viewers watched Jake Anderson throw his mother's favorite mug into the garbage, where it shattered against the metal bottom with a sound like breaking glass. "There," he said, brushing off his hands. finally cleaning out the dead weight. Dead weight. Elena, my wife, the woman who saved his life. Dead weight. I stood in that garage doorway for exactly 30 seconds, watching my son celebrate the destruction of his mother's memory in front of 900 strangers. Then I walked inside. Jake was back at the kitchen table reading comments and responding to his audience. "Yeah, it feels good," he was saying. "Like, finally, you know? Sometimes you have to be the adult in the relationship." He saw me come in and didn't even look embarrassed. "Oh, hey Dad, you're back early. What's going on here, Jake?" "Just doing some cleaning. I was telling everyone about our situation. How we're working on moving forward. 912 viewers now." I could see my reflection in his laptop camera. "You threw Elena's things away." "I threw away clutter. There's a difference." The comments were going crazy. People asking who I was, what was happening, whether this was staged. "Those weren't clutter," I said quietly. "Those were gifts from her students." "Dad, they were junk. Old coffee mugs and sentimental notes. We can't keep every piece of paper a student ever gave her." "Turn off the camera, Jake." "Why? This is good content. People need to see what it looks like when families make hard choices together." I reached over and closed his laptop. "Hey," Jake protested, "I was live. You just cut off 900 people." 900 people don't need to watch you disrespect your mother." Jake reopened the laptop. The stream was still running. "Sorry about that, everyone," he said to the camera. "My dad's having one of his moments. Grief makes people irrational sometimes." He positioned the screen so both of us were visible. "This is my father, Chuck Anderson. Dad, wave to the audience." I didn't wave. "See what I mean?" Jake continued. "This is what happens when people can't let go of the past. Dad thinks those old mugs were valuable. He thinks keeping Mom's junk around honors her memory." "Jake," I said quietly, "you need to stop this." "Stop what? Stop helping you move forward? Stop trying to build a better life for both of us?" The viewer count hit 950. "Tell them," I said. "Tell them what? Tell them about August 3rd, 2002? Jake's expression flickered. "Dad, don't start with that story again." "What story?" Someone typed in the comments. "My dad thinks my mom gave me a kidney when I was 8, Jake said, rolling his eyes. "It's this elaborate fantasy he's created to make her seem more important than she was." "Show them your scar," I said. "What scar?" More comments. "The one on your side, 6 inches long, lower right abdomen." Jake's hand moved unconsciously to his side. "That's from appendicitis surgery." "Show them." "I'm not taking my shirt off on camera, Dad. That's weird." "Then tell them about Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, room 412. The comments were getting more questions now, people sensing drama. "Dad's been watching too many medical shows," Jake said, but his voice was less confident. "Making up stories to guilt-trip me." "Dr. Stephen Martinez," I said. "Your surgeon. Want me to call him?" "Call who?" Jake's face was getting red. I pulled out my phone, found Dr. Martinez's contact information. Elena had kept it all these years. "What are you doing?" Jake asked. "Calling someone who remembers the truth." The phone rang twice before a familiar voice answered. "Dr. Martinez, this is Chuck Anderson. Elena Anderson's husband." "Yes, from Philadelphia." "Yes, she passed 3 years ago. I'm sorry to bother you, but I have our son Jake here and he's having trouble remembering his surgery." "Yes, the kidney transplant. August 2002? Jake's face went white. "Doctor, could you explain to Jake what happened when he was 8? He seems to think it was appendicitis." I put the phone on speaker. "Jake?" Dr. Martinez's voice came through clearly. "Jake Anderson? Oh my goodness, how are you, son? You were just a little boy when I met you. Complete renal failure, wasn't it? Your mother saved your life with that donation. How is Elena? I always wondered how you both turned out." The live stream had gone completely silent. No comments moving, just 1,000 people listening to a doctor confirm what Jake had been denying. "Jake?" Dr. Martinez continued. "Are you there? Your mother was one of the bravest women I ever met. No hesitation when we explained the risks. She just said, 'When can we do the surgery?' Remarkable woman." Jake stared at the phone like it was a snake. "The incision should have healed nicely," Dr. Martinez added. "Both of you should have matching scars on your right side." Elena was very concerned about that. Wanted to make sure you wouldn't feel self-conscious about it. 1,043 viewers now. Still no comments. "Doctor," I said, "Jake has been throwing away Elena's belongings tonight. Her teaching awards, gifts from students. He called her dead weight and said she never did anything important. The silence on the other end was deafening. "I see," Dr. Martinez said finally. "Well, Jake, I suppose everyone processes grief differently, but I want you to know that your mother's kidney is why you're alive today. That organ failure would have killed you within weeks. Elena's donation gave you 30 years of life so far, and hopefully many more to come." Someone in the comments finally typed, "Holy shit." Then the floodgates opened. Did he really throw away his dead mom's stuff? After she gave him a kidney? This is disgusting. What kind of person does this? Jake's a monster. Jake was reading the comments now, his face getting redder by the second. This isn't what it looks like," he stammered to the camera. "Dr. Martinez," I said, "is there any chance you could email us Jake's medical records from that time? He seems to need proof. Of course, I have your contact information from Elena's file. I'll send them tonight." "Thank you, doctor." I hung up the phone. The live stream now had over 1,100 viewers, and the comments were brutal. "Turn it off," Jake whispered. "Why?" I asked. "I thought this was good content. People seeing what families look like when they make hard choices." "Dad, please." "Tell them about the villa," I said quietly. "What villa?" "The one in Spain. Cala Sierpes, 23 Seville. Your mother's inheritance from her parents." Jake blinked. "What are you talking about?" "Tell them about the $2.1 million Elena left you." The comments exploded. $2 million? Holy crap! Plot twist! This keeps getting crazier. Jake was staring at me like I'd grown a second head. "That's not... There's no villa. Dad, what are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone again, found the photos Mr. Rodriguez had emailed me, the villa exterior, the property deed, the bank statements. "Elena's parents died in 2019, I said calmly. "They left her their family home in Seville. The paperwork took 2 years to process because Elena died before she could claim it. It finally transferred to our family in April." I held up my phone so the camera could see the property photos. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, rooftop terrace overlooking Seville Cathedral. Current market value, €1,950,000. That's 2.1 million US dollars. The viewer count was climbing past 1,200 now. Comments flowing so fast they were just a blur. "Dad," Jake said, his voice barely a whisper. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because," I said, looking directly into the camera, "deadweight doesn't inherit million-dollar properties." The silence that followed was absolute. Even the comment stream seemed to pause. "Elena Anderson," I continued, speaking to the 1,200 people watching, "taught 4th grade for 18 years, made $40,000 a year, saved every penny she could, gave her kidney to save her son's life, and left him a villa in Spain worth more than most people see in a lifetime." I looked at Jake, whose face had gone completely pale. "And tonight that son threw her memory in the garbage and called her worthless in front of 1,000 strangers." "I didn't know," Jake whispered. "About the villa? Or about the kidney? Both. Which one made you feel worse, Jake? Finding out your mother was rich or finding out she saved your life?" The comments were going insane now. "Jake is the worst person alive. I'm crying for Elena. Someone save that villa from this monster. How could he do this to his mom?" Jake was reading them, his hands shaking. "Turn it off," he begged. "Please, Dad, turn it off." "Why? You said people needed to see what it looks like when families make hard choices. Well, here's my hard choice." I looked directly into the camera. "Elena Anderson left specific instructions in her will. The villa goes to Jake only if he honors her memory and respects her sacrifice. There's a clause about maintaining the dignity of her legacy." I paused, letting that sink in. As of tonight, watching him call her dead weight and throw away gifts from the children she taught, I'd say that clause has been violated. "No," Jake said, panic creeping into his voice. "Dad, you can't. That money isn't yours anymore." The comments were absolutely savage now. Thousands of people watching a son realize he'd just talked himself out of $2 million on live television. "Tomorrow morning," I said to the camera, "I'm calling my lawyer. The villa will be donated to the Elena Anderson Memorial Scholarship Fund for underprivileged children, the same children Elena spent her life trying to help." Jake looked like he was going to vomit. "The same children," I continued, "whose thank you notes Jake threw in the garbage tonight, calling them worthless. 1,400 viewers now. The story was clearly being shared in real time. So thank you everyone for witnessing this moment. You've helped me make the easiest decision of my life." I reached over and closed Jake's laptop, ending the live stream. The kitchen fell silent except for the sound of Jake's heavy breathing. "Dad," he said finally, "I can fix this. I can apologize. You can move out," I said quietly. "What?" "Elena's house. Elena's rules. You want to call her dead weight? You can do it somewhere else." "Dad, please, I didn't understand. If you had just told me." "Told you what? That you should respect your mother, that you shouldn't throw away gifts from children, that the woman who gave you life deserved better than being called worthless?" Jake was crying now, real tears, maybe the first genuine emotion I'd seen from him in years. "I can change," he whispered. "Maybe," I said, "but not here, not in Elena's house, not around Elena's memory." I walked to the front door, opened it, looked out at the garbage can where Elena's mugs lay shattered. "You have until tomorrow morning to pack your things," I said. "After that, you're on your own. Where will I go?" "I don't know, Jake, but I know where you won't go." "Where?" "Spain." The next morning, I woke up to my phone buzzing nonstop. Friend requests on Facebook, messages from strangers, emails from news outlets. The live stream had been screen recorded and shared across every social media platform. #Jake Anderson was trending on Twitter. #Elena Anderson was trending too. But that wasn't what got my attention. What got my attention was the email from Dr. Martinez, sent at 11:43 p.m. the night before. "Chuck, I was so disturbed by tonight's call that I couldn't sleep. I've attached Jake's complete medical file from 2002, including pre-surgery photos, post-surgery photos, and my surgical notes. Elena's file is attached as well. I also want you to know that I've started a memorial fund at Children's Hospital in Elena's name. She was an extraordinary woman. Dr. Stephen Martinez." I printed everything. Every page, every photo, every medical note, the evidence Elena had made me promise never to show Jake because she didn't want him feeling guilty. Elena's kindness, even after death, still protecting the son who'd thrown her memory away. I heard movement upstairs, Jake packing probably. Good. My phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Anderson? This is Jennifer Walsh from Channel 6 News. We'd like to interview you about last night's viral video." I hung up. Another call. Another reporter. I turned off my phone. At 9 a.m., Jake came downstairs with 2 suitcases and a backpack. His eyes were red, his face hollow. He looked like he'd aged 5 years overnight. "Dad," he started. "Jake, I watched the video again. Someone posted it on YouTube. It has 300,000 views." I didn't respond. "The comments." He swallowed hard. "They're saying things about me. Horrible things. What did you expect?" "I don't know. I never thought people would react like this." "Like what?" "Like what I did was unforgivable." I looked at my son, Elena's son, standing in Elena's kitchen with his cheap suitcases, finally understanding the weight of his choices. "Jake," I said quietly, "what you did was throw away the love of the woman who saved your life. On camera, in front of strangers. What exactly did you think people would say? I thought they'd understand, that it was time to move forward. From what? From the past, from all that sentiment. That sentiment was your mother's love. Those coffee mugs were gifts from children whose lives she changed. Those thank you notes were proof that she mattered." Jake set down his suitcases. "I know that now." "Do you?" "Yes, I called Tyler last night, asked if I could stay with him for a while. He said he saw the video, said he couldn't have someone like me around his family. I wasn't surprised. Tyler had young kids. Brandon said the same thing, said what I did was psycho behavior. What about the girl with pink hair? She blocked me on everything, posted on her Instagram story calling me a sociopath." Jake sat down at Elena's kitchen table, the same table where he'd live-streamed his mother's destruction 12 hours earlier. "Dad, I lost $2 million last night." "No," I said, "you lost something worth much more than that." "What?" "The respect of everyone who knew your mother, including me." Jake's face crumpled. "How do I fix this?" "You don't. There has to be a way. Some kind of apology, Jake," I sat down across from him. "Your mother had terminal cancer for 18 months. Chemo, radiation, surgery, the works. You know what she worried about most during that time?" "What?" "You. Whether you'd be okay after she died. Whether you'd remember her kindness. Whether you'd grow up to be a good man." Jake was crying again. "She made me promise to be patient with you. Said grief makes people do strange things. Said you'd find your way eventually. I can still find my way? Maybe, but not here. Not in her house. Not around her memory." I pulled out the medical files Dr. Martinez had sent. "These are your surgical records from 2002. Photos of your kidney failure. Photos of the transplant surgery, your mother's donor records. I spread them across the table like playing cards. This is proof of what Elena did for you, what she sacrificed, what she never wanted you to feel guilty about. Jake looked at the photos. Pictures of his 8-year-old body opened up, Elena's kidney being placed inside him. She did this, I said, pointing to the surgical photos. For you, without hesitation, without conditions, without expecting gratitude. I know. Do you? Because last night you called her dead weight. I was wrong. Yes, you were. I gathered up the photos, put them back in the envelope. The villa goes to the scholarship fund tomorrow morning. Mr. Rodriguez is handling the paperwork. Elena's memory will help other children get educated the way she always wanted. And me? You figure out how to live with what you've done. Jake picked up his suitcases. Where will I go? I don't know. But Jake? Yeah? Wherever you go, remember this. Your mother gave you 30 years of life you wouldn't have had. Last night you used that gift to destroy her memory. Think about what that means. He walked to the door, stopped, turned back. Dad? What? I'm sorry. Don't apologize to me, I said. Apologize to her. Jake looked around Elena's kitchen one last time. The sunflower dish towels, the coffee maker we'd had for 15 years, the window where she used to watch the sunrise. How do I apologize to someone who's dead? You live better, I said. You become the man she believed you could be. You honor her sacrifice. What if I can't? Then you live with the consequences, just like you're doing now. Jake nodded, opened the door, walked out into the December morning. I watched him load his car, saw him sit in the driver's seat for a long moment, staring at Elena's house. Then he drove away. I closed the door, made coffee in one of Elena's remaining mugs, and called Mr. Rodriguez in Seville. Buenos dias, Mr. Anderson. I saw the news about your son. Very unfortunate. It's time to transfer the villa to the scholarship fund, I said. See, of course, Elena would be proud. Yes, I said, looking at her photo on the mantel. She would. The story exploded over the next week like nothing I'd ever seen. By Wednesday, the video had been viewed over 2 million times across all platforms. News outlets picked it up. Talk shows discussed it. Someone created a Wikipedia page for Elena Anderson Memorial Fund before I even knew what was happening. The Today Show called. Good Morning America called. Dr. Phil's producers called. I ignored them all. But I couldn't ignore what was happening to Jake. Tyler's mom, Mrs. Patterson, stopped by Thursday afternoon. She'd known Elena from PTA meetings, always liked her. Chuck, she said, standing on my front porch with a casserole, I wanted you to know that Tyler feels terrible about what happened with Jake. Not Tyler's fault, I said. He's been Jake's friend since high school, says he never knew about the kidney donation, says if he'd known he would have stopped Jake from saying those things about Elena. I invited her in, made coffee. The thing is, Mrs. Patterson continued, Tyler's been getting calls, reporters wanting to interview Jake's friends, asking about his character, his relationship with his mother. What's Tyler telling them? The truth, that Jake always seemed embarrassed by Elena, never talked about her accomplishments, only complained about money. Tyler says he tried to defend Jake at first, but then he watched the video again. She shook her head. 23 minutes of Jake destroying his mother's memory, the way he mimicked those children's thank you notes, the way he called her sacrifice manipulation. Tyler says he can't defend that. Jake made his choices. Yes, but Chuck, you should know, it's affecting him. Jake's been calling Tyler, begging him to post something supportive on social media. Tyler won't do it. Says his own children might see it someday, and he won't have them thinking he supports that kind of behavior. Friday morning brought worse news. Jake had been staying at a motel on Route 30. The manager, a woman named Carol, who'd also known Elena, recognized Jake from the video. She told him to find somewhere else to stay. I don't run a motel for people who disrespect their dead mothers, she'd said, according to Jake's frantic voicemail. He'd tried 3 other motels. Same result. The story had made Elena into a local hero. Roosevelt Elementary was getting donations for a memorial garden. Former students were sharing their own stories about how Elena had helped them. Meanwhile, Jake couldn't find a place to sleep in his own hometown. Saturday, Dr. Martinez called me directly. Chuck, I've been following the news coverage. The medical community is rallying around Elena's memory. We're setting up the Elena Anderson Medical Hero Fund at Children's Hospital. That's wonderful, Doctor. But I'm calling about Jake. He contacted me yesterday asking if I could somehow retract my statement about the kidney donation. Said it was destroying his life. What did you tell him? I told him the truth doesn't change just because it's inconvenient. Elena saved his life, and if that's destroying his current life, maybe he should think about why. Dr. Martinez paused. Chuck, in 30 years of surgery, I've never seen anything like what's happening to your son. The internet can be cruel, but this feels different. People aren't just angry about what he did. They're heartbroken. Elena represents every mother who sacrificed for ungrateful children. He was right. The comments weren't just calling Jake names. They were sharing their own stories. Mothers who'd given everything for kids who took it for granted. Children who realized too late what their parents had sacrificed. Elena's story had touched something universal. Sunday morning, I drove past Jake's old high school. Someone had put up a banner. Elena Anderson, teacher, hero, mother. There were flowers underneath it, dozens of bouquets from people who'd never even met her. I stopped, read some of the cards. Thank you for showing us what real sacrifice looks like. Jake doesn't deserve the gift you gave him. Your kidney gave him life. He gave you nothing in return. You deserved better, Elena. The last card made me cry. It was from a little girl, maybe 8 years old. Dear Mrs. Anderson, my mom says you saved your son's life and he was mean to you. That's not fair. If you saved my life, I would hug you every day. I hope you're happy in heaven. Love, Sophie. I took a photo of that card and posted it on the Elena Anderson Memorial Facebook page that someone had created. Within an hour, it had been shared 15,000 times. Monday brought the employment consequences. Jake had been doing freelance marketing work for a small company called Premier Digital Solutions. Their owner, Mark Stevens, had been following the story. He called me directly. Mr. Anderson, I'm sorry to bother you, but I wanted you to know that we've terminated our contract with Jake. You don't need to explain that to me. Actually, I do. See, my daughter Emma was one of Elena's students, 4th grade, 2018. Elena helped Emma through a really rough patch when my wife and I were getting divorced. I remembered Emma Stevens. Quiet girl, dark hair, always seemed sad. Elena had spent extra time with her, made sure she ate lunch, helped her with reading. Emma's in high school now, Mark continued. When she saw the video of Jake throwing away student gifts and calling them worthless, she cried for an hour. Said Mrs. Anderson was the kindest person she'd ever met. Elena would remember Emma, I said. She always worried about the quiet ones. That's exactly what Emma said. She told me Mrs. Anderson used to eat lunch with her when she was feeling alone, helped her understand that her parents' divorce wasn't her fault. Mark's voice got emotional. Mr. Anderson, your wife literally helped my daughter through the worst time of her life. When I saw her son calling her worthless, throwing away gifts from kids like Emma, I couldn't continue doing business with him. My own daughter would never forgive me. I understand. The thing is, word gets around in the business community. Other companies are making the same decision. Jake's effectively unemployable in this town right now. Tuesday, the legal consequences began. Jake had applied for 3 different jobs online using his real name. All 3 companies Googled him, found the video, and declined to interview him. One HR manager was honest enough to call and explain. Mr. Anderson, we're a family-oriented company. We can't hire someone who publicly disrespected his deceased mother. It would damage our reputation with employees and customers. Wednesday brought the housing consequences. Jake had tried to rent an apartment. The landlord, Mrs. Chen, Googled his name during the application process. I'm sorry, she told him over the phone, but I can't rent to you. What you did to your mother, I have a son too. If he ever treated my memory like that, I'd haunt him from the grave. Thursday, the social consequences reached their peak. Someone had created a website called Remember Elena Anderson. It featured photos of her teaching, excerpts from thank you letters, and a video compilation of former students sharing how she'd helped them. Right next to it was Jake's live stream with the title, How Her Son Repaid Her Sacrifice. The contrast was devastating. Elena's kindness versus Jake's cruelty. Her sacrifice versus his selfishness. Her dignity versus his public humiliation of her memory. By Friday, the site had received over 1 million visitors. Friday afternoon, I got a call from Principal Wilson at Roosevelt Elementary. Chuck, I wanted you to know that the school board voted unanimously to rename the library the Elena Anderson Memorial Library. We're also commissioning a bronze plaque with her photo and a description of her kidney donation to Jake. That's very kind. The plaque will include a quote from one of her former students. Mrs. Anderson taught us that love means sacrifice. She proved it by giving her kidney to save her son's life. Principal Wilson paused. Chuck, we want to make sure Elena's legacy of sacrifice and love is never forgotten, even if her own son chose to forget it. Saturday morning, exactly 1 week after the live stream, Jake called me. Dad, he said, his voice hoarse, I can't find work. I can't find housing. I can't even buy groceries without people recognizing me. Where are you staying? My car. I've been sleeping in my car for 3 days. I felt a twist of sympathy, but I thought about Elena's broken coffee mugs in the garbage, the way Jake had mimicked those children's thank you notes, the way he'd called her sacrifice manipulation. Jake, I said quietly, you made your choices. Dad, please, I know I messed up. I know I was wrong. But this isn't justice. This is destruction. No, I said. Destruction is what you did to your mother's memory. This is consequences. The whole world hates me. The whole world loved your mother. You declared war on her memory. What did you think would happen? I didn't think it would go this far. Neither did Elena when she gave you her kidney. She didn't think about how far her sacrifice would go. She just saved your life and asked for nothing in return. I know that now. Knowing it now doesn't help, Jake. Living it then would have. Is there anything I can do? Any way to fix this? I thought about Elena's wishes, her hope that Jake would become a good man, her belief in second chances. Maybe, I said finally. What? Get your life together somewhere else. Become the man Elena believed you could be. Honor her sacrifice through your actions, not your words. And then? And then maybe, someday, people will remember you for who you became instead of what you did. What about the villa? The villa belongs to Elena's memory now. It'll help other children get educated, the way she always wanted. And us? There is no us anymore, Jake. You're Elena's son, but you're not my family. Family doesn't destroy each other's memory on live television. I hung up the phone and sat in Elena's kitchen, drinking coffee from one of her surviving mugs. Outside, the December snow was starting to fall, covering our neighborhood in quiet white. Elena would have loved the snow. She always said winter made everything look clean and new, like second chances, like fresh starts, like the scholarship fund that would help other children, other families, other mothers who believed in sacrifice and love. Jake would have to find his own fresh start somewhere else. Elena's legacy would continue here, in the town that loved her, among the people who understood what real sacrifice looked like. That felt like justice. That felt like peace. 3 months later, on a quiet Tuesday morning in March, I was cleaning Elena's old classroom when I found the letter. It was tucked inside her desk drawer behind some old lesson plans. My name on the envelope in Elena's careful handwriting. The paper was yellowed, dated August 15th, 2002, 2 weeks after Jake's surgery. My dearest Chuck, it began. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone and something has happened with Jake. I hope I'm wrong, but I know my son. I see the way he looks at the world, like it owes him something instead of the other way around. I sat down in Elena's chair, the same chair where she'd planned thousands of lessons, graded countless papers, written hundreds of encouraging notes to struggling students. I need you to know that giving Jake my kidney was the easiest decision I ever made. Not because I expected gratitude, but because that's what love does. Love gives without keeping score. The letter continued for 3 pages. Elena had anticipated everything. Jake's selfishness, his lack of appreciation, even the possibility that he might someday reject her memory entirely. If Jake ever chooses cruelty over kindness, entitlement over gratitude, please don't blame yourself. You'll want to fix him, to force him to understand what sacrifice means. But Chuck, darling, you can't make someone appreciate a gift they never asked for. She was right, as always. Instead, I want you to remember the children who did understand. The Emmas and Sophies and thousands of others who knew that love requires action, not just words. Use whatever I leave behind to help them. That's how my sacrifice continues, not through Jake's gratitude, but through your generosity. At the bottom, she'd written, P.S. The villa in Spain is real. Use it to help other mothers love their children the way I love Jake, even if he never learns to love me back. I folded the letter carefully, put it in my wallet next to her photo. That afternoon I drove to the Elena Anderson Memorial Library. The bronze plaque was beautiful, Elena's smiling face surrounded by quotes from her former students. She taught us that love means sacrifice. A little girl was sitting at one of the reading tables, working on homework with her mother. The mother looked familiar, Sarah Mitchell, one of Elena's former students, now grown up with a daughter of her own. "Mr. Anderson?" Sarah approached me. "I wanted to thank you for what you did. My daughter Lucy is in 4th grade now, same grade I was when I had Mrs. Anderson." "Elena would be proud," I said. "I've been telling Lucy about Mrs. Anderson, about how she saved her own son's life, how she never gave up on any of us, how she believed in every child who walked through her door." Sarah's eyes got teary. "Lucy asked me if Mrs. Anderson's son ever said thank you for the kidney. I didn't know what to tell her." "What did you say?" "I said that sometimes people need time to understand what they've been given, that maybe someday he'll realize how lucky he was." "That's a good answer." "Mr. Anderson, do you think he'll ever come back? Ever apologize properly?" I thought about Jake's last phone call 3 weeks ago. He'd found work in Seattle, washing dishes at a restaurant, living in a studio apartment, keeping his head down, trying to rebuild his life under a different name. "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I know Elena would want him to have the chance. Even after what he did? Especially after what he did. That's what Elena taught us, that love doesn't stop when people disappoint you. It just changes shape." Sarah hugged her daughter closer. "I hope Lucy grows up understanding sacrifice the way Mrs. Anderson did. I think she will. She has a good mother." That evening I got an email from Dr. Martinez. The Elena Anderson Medical Hero Fund had now helped 17 families pay for organ transplant surgeries. 17 children who got second chances because Elena's memory inspired generosity in others. Her sacrifice was multiplying, reaching further than she ever could have imagined. At sunset, I walked through Elena's memorial garden behind Roosevelt Elementary. Someone had planted sunflowers, her favorite flowers. They wouldn't bloom until summer, but the green shoots were already pushing through the March soil. New life from old ground. My phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. "Dad, it's Jake. I saw the news about the medical fund. 17 kids. Mom would be happy. I'm trying to be better. Still have a long way to go. Thank you for protecting her memory. Love you." I read it twice, then put my phone away without responding. Elena's letter was right. You can't force someone to appreciate a gift they never asked for. But maybe sometimes they figure it out on their own. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was exactly what Elena would have wanted. Not immediate gratitude, but eventual understanding. Not perfect children, but growing ones. I walked home through the spring evening, past houses where Elena's former students lived with families of their own, past the school where her memory would inspire generations of teachers, past the memorial garden where her sunflowers would bloom every summer. Elena's legacy wasn't in Jake's gratitude. It was in the love that keeps growing, even after the giver is gone, even when the gift is forgotten, even when the sacrifice seems wasted. Love doesn't keep score. Elena taught me that. And finally, I understood. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Sometimes the stories that hurt the most are the ones we need to tell. Sometimes the love we give comes back in ways we never expected.